Our Voices is a series of short interviews with fighters and survivors of breast cancer that were diagnosed before the age of 40. We are not medical professionals. Being a breast cancer survivor that was diagnosed at the age of 27 and losing my mother that was originally diagnosed at the age of 23, I felt the need to share my story along with the additional stories that you'll hear to help bring awareness to the importance of breast health at any age. If you take nothing else from our stories, please take the time to learn your body and be proactive when you notice a change. Early detection saves lives, and your life is worth saving. Thank you for taking the time to listen to Our Voices.
So, hey everybody, I am back. This is the final interview for my breast cancer series, Our Voices Breast Cancer Happens Before 40. And to conclude my interviews, I have chosen to do an interview with myself. As most of you may know, I have shared my story written so many times, but I have never actually talked about my story. So I just wanted to take a moment to actually share my story with you all, asking the same questions that I've asked in my previous interviews to my other survivors and fighters. And I'm excited. So I hope that you all enjoy listening to my story. I want to once again thank everybody that has taken the time to look at the interviews, share the interviews, and just send me comments and just those that have been thankful that I have shared so many stories. It truly means a lot. So today I actually have my boyfriend here, Antoine. He wanted to ask me the questions, which I was fine with. I was nervous because I was going to just ask and answer them myself, but he said, hey, no, let me ask you the questions. So I think that was dope. So I'm excited because he was actually here during my whole cancer journey. So I think it'll be good for you all to actually hear from me as well as from him because he was on the opposite side as my caregiver. Well, it was one of my caregivers. So thank you again. And here we go. You ready?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm excited. I'm excited. Um, yeah, the reason why I wanted to do this interview myself with you because I've seen you ask, the other survivors these questions, these tough questions, and obviously when we first met, this was something very new to both of us. Life changing, of course, but I've seen you champion this situation as if, excuse me, as everybody else that you've talked to, I've heard the stories, how everybody's talked about their journey. So I wanted to sit down, have a couch meeting, and
Couch talk.
Couch talk, and kind of ask you those questions. So put you in the hot seat, and just talk about your journey.
Thanks.
All right.
All right.
So let's get started. So, what age were you diagnosed with breast cancer?
So I was diagnosed at the age of 27.
27. 27. Very young. Very young.
I had just purchased this house. I purchased this house January of 2015, and June 2nd is when I was diagnosed, and I was 27 years old.
The way I remember that, we was on vacation. You always joke about I was sick and we was on vacation, but that's an old story. How was your breast cancer detected, and do you remember what stage it was?
So my breast cancer was detected via MRI. We were back from vacation. Yeah, we were back from vacation. I had a MRI scheduled, and I tried to avoid that MRI. The reason I tried to avoid it was because I had had my mammogram done. I think I had it done prior. Yeah, that was done prior to us going on vacation, and so I had that come back clear and free of any cancer tumor. So I was like, all right, cool. I don't need to do the MRI. Let's just wait to do the MRI next year. But that day, and honestly, that week up until the day, I actually could not get through to anybody. And of course, as you know, I worked at MCB where I was treated at, and I knew all of the backline numbers to be able to get into people's desk and just to get into, the phones where outsiders didn't know how to get into, but nobody was answering the phone, like literally up until that day. And my appointment was like at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I'll never forget. So I was like, all right, God, I'm just gonna go to this appointment and get it out of the way. Thank God I did. That was what actually picked up my cancer tumor. And it was picked up because when I was getting MRIs, I had to get dye, I think it's called dye, injected in my arms. And it actually highlights the breast tissue. The thing about mammograms for younger breasts, well, younger women, their breast tissue is very dense. And so mammograms does not always pick up the tumors. So therefore getting the MRI, it's just like a deeper imaging and it allows them to see more. And the dye actually highlights, I guess, obviously tumors, but whatever else needs to be highlighted in the body. And that's what found my cancer. So I was actually stage 1. And my cancer was smack dead in the center of my breast. So my doctors told me, had I waited to actually feel a lump, I probably would have been too late with trying to treat it. I never felt a lump. So for those that say they feel the lump, they felt the lumps. I don't know what the lump feels like. I've heard it's hard. I've heard it's sometimes painless, but I have no experience with how the lump feels.
Thank God you got it.
Yes.
So, breast cancer, does it run in your family?
Yes, so I have a very, very, very strong history of breast cancer. As everybody knows, my mom died from breast cancer. I was 10 years old when she died. That was actually her second, to my knowledge, her second reoccurrence. She was originally diagnosed at the age of 23. So that is where it started for me. And then as I grew older, I later found out that other family had breast cancer and my grandfather died from breast cancer. And yeah, it's pretty much prominent on my mom's side, on her father's side. I've had a number of cousins, a number of aunts that have all been diagnosed. Some survived, some that haven't. And they pretty much, most of them have had cancer. There have been a select few that I know that have not, but it's very strong on my mom's dad's side.
It's one of the things that I think is so powerful about the series that you're doing here is that, like, I know of one aunt that I know for sure who has breast cancer, and I know it runs in my family, but I haven't heard of anybody else.
Mhm.
So you putting these voices out here to younger generation, to the older generation, to everybody, because men as well can get breast cancer is major, major. Because I can tell you from me being 34, I didn't talk about it until I met you.
Mhm.
So this whole series that you're creating is just putting so many faces and ages and a voice to something that's affecting everybody. So it's very, very, very powerful what you got going on right
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, as everybody knows, I've always been an advocate for younger women, and I vow to do that for the rest of my life because going through it at such a young age, I didn't have many people to relate. So, yep. And then I wanted to take it back with the family history. So I know that it runs in my family because I did test BRCA1 positive. BRCA1 positive means I have the gene for ovarian and breast cancer. So I got the testing done. I think I was 23. My primary care doctor, Rachel Waller, I'll never forget her. She heard my family history and she said, yes, we need to get you BRCA tested ASAP. So when I got BRCA tested, found out that I had the gene. They wanted to do a hysterectomy and a double mastectomy once they found out. And I was like, wait, no, like that's too much. I'm only 23. Of course, I'm young. That made my breast everything that means a lot to me at that age. So I just said no. If I have to cross that bridge, then I'll cross that bridge. So the BRCA1 positive results were the reason why I was able to do the mammograms and the MRIs at such a young age because they typically don't I don't want to say demand, but they typically don't suggest that you do those until you are 40. So I just want to add that to it.
now. So tell me, what do you remember when you initially found out you had breast cancer? What were you thinking, and how did it make you feel once you got the news?
So I wanted you to go to that appointment, but only my dad went. Yeah, me and my dad went. And him and I think we were what? I think we had been dating on like 5 months, so we were still kind of new. So me and my dad went. Me and my dad went to the appointment. I kind of felt like I know it's gonna be cancer. Like there's no way. Like my mom died from it, so I know it's gonna be cancer. So I remember we sat in this room. It was a couch. It was a couch, and then there was a desk, and the doctor sat right there at the desk. And so she came in, and she, asked how we were doing or whatever. And I was like, fine. And my dad, if you know my dad, he always has a smile on his face. He's like, doing good. You're doing good. Like, and so I'm thinking to myself, like, why is he smiling? Like, he already knows what the results are going to be. And he had talked to me prior to the appointment, said, no matter what the results are, like, you're going to be okay. So I was like, yeah, okay, cool. So we sat there, and then, I don't know, I just remember. I just remember she came in, and she just, keep straight to the point. She was like, you have cancer. And honestly, I don't remember anything after that. I don't remember anything. I do remember, I feel so bad. I wish I knew the girl's name, but I remember after leaving out of the appointment, I walked out. If you know how Stony Point and NTV is, you kind of walk out and then the front desk is to your left. So I walked out and the receptionist said, ma'am, you need me to cut your fans off, ma'am, you need to get your appointment, your discharge papers or whatever the case may be. And I just looked at her and I rolled my eyes and I kept moving, like, because I was just like, do you know I just found out I have cancer? I don't care about these bands on my arms. I don't care about the discharge. I don't care about any of that. Like, I got cancer. So initially, I just felt like that was it. At that time, the only cancer that I had been exposed to, like, in depth, was my mom. And so with her not being here, it's like, okay, this is it. I don't even know if she told me what stage I was in at that time. Like I said, I just heard cancer and everything just went like black. So my dad was there. We what did we do? We left. My dad, if you know my dad really doesn't talk much. Like, he lets me come to him before he will come to me and talk about like feelings. So he was like, what do you want to eat for lunch? So we went all the way to, we were at Stony Point and I wanted this food truck. And so we went all the way to the west end of Henrico to the food truck. We ate lunch and then he was like, okay, so what do you want to do next? And I said, I want to go back to work. And he was like, work? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't want to sit here and be stuck, just thinking about it, because all I'm gonna do is sit at home and cry and think about it. So I went back to work. I remember my coworkers at the time, Katrina and Tierra. Katrina knew, I don't know if Tierra knew at the time too, but Katrina knew that I was going to the doctor. So when I got to work, she really didn't say anything to me because I know she was probably anticipating the news. And I don't know if I think what is that, I sent a text, and I just sent a text say, hey, I do have cancer, and I just don't really want to talk about it. So we just went about the rest of the workday, and then that was it. So pretty much I was scared. I felt like I felt like it was destiny. It's like, all right, I'm about to die. I'm only 23. Like, what, I haven't even lived half my life yet. So that's how it goes.
And this is why you're making these videos to, give other women that courage, and knowing that it can be okay. Early detection is key.
Yeah.
And treatment and everything else that the professionals are telling you you need to do.
Right.
I will add this small thing. We were definitely early in our relationship, and LaDonna gave me an out.
I did. I remember. I think I text you? I don't know if I text you.
I don't
told
know.
you.
I can't remember what you did.
But I told him, I was like, look, I got cancer. You are free to go. Like, I don't need you to stay here and play with my emotions when I'm pretty much fighting for my life. So either you win it or you not. Period. Because I ain't got time.
We gonna let her have the period. But everybody remembers things different. But we're gonna leave it. That was the story in a nutshell. So you found out you got cancer. What type of treatment did you receive? And do you mind sharing a little bit about your journey, which I guess we already did, but tell us about your treatment.
So pretty much, I got 6 rounds of chemotherapy, and the 6 rounds started October 31st, which is another reason why this video is airing on October 31st. But I'll share more at the end. So I started my treatment October 31st. I got 6 rounds, so pretty much 1 round every 3 weeks. My regimen, it was supposed to be the Red Devil carboplatin taxotere, but at the last minute, there was a study for women who were BRCA1 positive, and it said that carboplatin taxotere without the red devil, as they call it, showed greater success. So I did that. Like I said, that was from October 31st to, I want to say February. I think my last shoot was on your birthday, February 23rd of the next year. Because I remember you went out to dinner. I think that was my last treatment day. So October 31st to February 23rd. And that may not be exactly 3 weeks because I did get sick. So after my first chemo treatment, I went living my life like I was normal, which I shouldn't have did. I got my chemo treatment, and I think that night, yeah, because it was on a Friday, that night we met somebody at the bowling alley off Broad Street, and I came home and I was like really cold. And so I don't know, it may not have been that Friday. It was over the course of that weekend. Came home and I was really cold, woke up with a fever, and they said, you know, if your fever got to a certain temperature, then you need to come to the emergency room. Went to the emergency room, and I can't remember, I don't know if my white blood cell count was high or my red blood cell count was high, but one of them was really high, and they had to admit me because they needed to find the source of like the infection or what was going on. Needless to say, they never found anything, but I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital for a while until my blood cell counts went back to normal. So that's when they advised, you need to start wearing masks. You can't go out in public places. You need to understand that your immune system is going to be attacked much easier than before. So from then on, I learned my lesson. I will say they told me to pay attention to my cycle, my chemo cycle. So therefore I would know how my body would react. So pretty much I would get my treatments on that Friday. The weekend I was fine. That Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then halfway through Thursday, I would feel sick. Like I would be nauseated. I wouldn't want to get out of the bed. It just felt like a ton of bricks hit me. But then it was every Thursday after chemo, the second half of the day, I'm up like nothing ever happened. So that happened, and then the following weeks I would deal with constipation. I would deal with also diarrhea and what else? Indigestion or heartburn. But they all happen the same times after each treatment. So probably by after the third treatment, I knew what to expect. So I knew how to plan my weeks and my activities around how I would be feeling from my chemo. I will say my doctor warned me that on day 14, I would be losing my hair. And sure enough, I was sitting right here on this couch. I was sitting like this. And I went to get up for something. And when I got up, it was like hair in my hand. It wasn't a lot, but it was hair. It was like a lot of hair that had shedded. So I went to the bathroom and I started combing my hair. And that's when it was just coming out. So I immediately texted my beautician at the time. I call her Mouse, but her name is Candace Hargrove. I said, hey, I need to come and get my hair cut. She already knew what was going on. So she was like, okay, come in tomorrow. So I went in, she washed my hair. And when she washed my hair, she was just like, it's nothing that we can do. She had already, I will say, prior to treatment, she had already cut it short. I wanted to feel like I had some control over this situation. So I said, let me cut my hair. So I had a short pixie cut. But when she went to wash it, she was just like, yeah, it's nothing that we can do. So I didn't cut it off at that time. I had wigs already prepared. So I had started wearing wigs. She cut it so it can look decent, but yeah, so I wore my wigs. And then eventually this guy right here was like, you look more sick with your hair chopped. So pretty much if you want to visualize how I look like what's the girl, the little doll baby from Rugrats? I can't think of the doll baby from Rugrats, but if you think of the doll baby from Rugrats who had patches of hair.
Tommy?
No, the doll baby. I can't think of the doll baby, but you know the doll baby. I look like the doll baby. So he was just like, just cut it off. So we sat in my living room, well, sat in the kitchen, and he shaved the rest of my head off. And that's when I embraced my bald head. So from there, like I said, my treatments were good. I got a little device on me. It was for the new Lassa, which pretty much helped to boost your immune system, and I think it's the white blood cells, don't quote me, but it boosts the white blood cells, so your body can start feeling normal again. So I had that, and it was crazy because it was I think it was like a timer or something on it, or it was automatic to inject you like after a certain time frame. So it would just, sometimes I would forget and it'll shock me and I'll jump. But other than that, I mean, that was about it. The rest of my journey was pretty smooth. I will say after chemo, I started dealing with leg pain, and that wasn't good for me because I literally probably at the time walked almost a mile to work. So the walk became a little difficult. My legs would hurt. They would not like be in like sore pain, but they would be heavy. So trying to lift them, it just didn't feel right. So after that, that was pretty much it. I had a lot of people that came and cared for me, which I'm forever grateful for that. And then I started with my chemo, but I forgot. I got the double mastectomy first. I got the double mastectomy in August. And with the double mastectomy, that was a lot. I remember the day of my surgery. Now imagine my surgery, I had to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning. Got there at 6 o'clock. My whole family took over the weight room. Like we had a whole section, and I knew that I was gonna have my family there. My family has really been like there for me during my whole life once my mom died. And when I got up there and saw the whole the whole section is not exaggeration. If you know the MCV waiting room prior to the renovations, they had it sectioned off, and a whole section, it was just my family. So all of my family was there. And then my god sister Keita Blackwell, listen, if you need somebody to pray for you, call her. Her name on Instagram is True Shalom Blackwell, Roots for a Stem. She will pray you back to life, pray you through whatever. She did this dynamic prayer for me. It was even like honestly, the whole waiting room had gotten to that prayer. Like she prayed. And honestly, I feel like she prayed the cancer out of me right then and there. So that was a great, moment to get me ready for surgery. I remember going back into the room, and it was with my dad back there, and they, were marking me up, asking me all these questions. That's when I decided to actually share the news with the world that I had breast cancer. My immediate circle knew, and I didn't even tell them all at once. I had to tell them at different times because it was so much to try to tell people I have cancer, and then to hear the, oh my gosh, or the questions, how do you feel? It was too much to just tell everybody all at once. So I had to tell people in ways that I felt were good at that time, in ways that I knew I would be okay. Some people I was in the mood to tell on the phone, some people I was in the mood to text. And most of the time when I told people, I just said, right now I don't want to talk about it, but I just want you to know. So I'm forever grateful for my circle, because they kept it airtight, like airtight. And when I finally let it out, like I said, I was on the surgery table getting marked up, gave my dad my phone, and that was it. And then I didn't get back on my phone. I think it was probably about a week, maybe two, before I even touch my phone to get back on anything. And I was just flooded with so much love, which I'm forever grateful for. My line sisters, my sorors, my chapter sorors, like everybody, family, friends, they just, share so much love. So I'm super appreciative of that. My surgery was about 8 hours. I did the double mastectomy, and I also started my expanders at that time. So pretty much the double mastectomy and started reconstruction all at the same time. Healing process for that was no joke. I couldn't use my arms for weeks. So I had my family taking turns with bathing me, helping me to get dressed, helping me to get in and out the bed, cooking, bringing food and whatnot, because I really couldn't do anything for myself. He was here obviously the whole time. He experienced, a lot of stuff that probably he wasn't expecting, but he took it like a champ. So yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. That was a space where I became very vulnerable because I needed the help. It was hard. I'm very independent. I don't want people to do anything for me, and I don't want to feel like I need people. Like I can handle it. So it was hard for me to kind of sit back and not do anything. I remember me and my dad were sitting here one morning, and Andrew Day's song "Rise Up" had debuted on, I think it was Good Morning America, one of those news shows, and I cried, and I was like, I feel like this is my anthem. And so ever since then, "Rise Up" has been, the song that triggers my mind to go back during that time frame, or just whenever I'm going through something difficult, like I know that I can rise up, during any situation. So that was the double mastectomy surgery piece. And then I did the chemo after that. And then while I was going through chemo, I was also getting my expanders stretched out. So pretty much expanders are bricks, as I call them. They're this hard plastic material that they put inside you, and they expand your breast to your skin to the size that you want them to be. And I think I was doing it like maybe every 4 weeks. It hurt, but it was the nature of the game. It's what I wanted, so I had to go through with it. So got that, and then they replaced the expanders with silicone implants once I was finished my chemo. So pretty much I will say this process probably took about a year from diagnosis to actually being done with every single thing. It took about a year. That was pretty much my process. And I do remember when I was finishing up my chemo, my doctor said, you need to talk to a therapist. Not because anything had happened, but because pretty much when you're going through chemo, you're focused on getting through each treatment. And if you're doing it for so long, it's like, okay, get up, I gotta get through this, got another chemo left, got another chemo treatment left. And then once you get to the end, it's like, okay, what's next? Like you're so focused for fighting for your life that once you're done with the fight, it's like, okay, what do you do next? So from there, I did find a therapist. I still see her to this day, Jamel Spady. You need a therapist, call her. She's absolutely amazing. So I highly like to advocate for that as well. Just in general, therapy in general, but also for young women or any type of woman facing cancer, whether it's the first, second, third, fourth time, like therapy helps because it helps you to think about the positive. It helps to train your brain to think other ways, think of the glass half full, so that like this is not the end. Like there's more to life, and to look at the positives about your life. Stop focusing on what isn't, focus on what is, or focus on, just the good things about your life and what you do, on this earth to just be and bring positivity to other people. So that was pretty much my journey. That was long, but that was pretty much my journey. So yep.
I mean, you definitely had to express and share what happened. So
Yeah.
sometimes it takes a little bit. Well, our final question is, if you could share anything with other women about breast cancer, what would it be?
So what I would share is, don't let any doctor tell you what you already know about your body. That's my biggest thing. Don't, if you know something's wrong, never accept no for an answer. You find that doctor that's gonna tell you yes. You find second opinions. I didn't need second opinions. I worked at NCD. I highly advocated for their care. So I was confident in their findings. I used to work in the pathology department. I requested Dr. Michael Itawu to look at my pathology because he was the only one that I trusted with my breast health information. So I knew, everything was correct. So I just say, know your body. Don't let any doctor tell you no. And if they tell you no, you keep going to one that tells you yes. You are your only advocate. Nobody knows you better than you. So that would be my recommendation for that. If you're in the fight, just know that it's not the end. Trust me, I know it feels like the end. You're losing your hair, you're losing your eyebrows, you're losing what I say, everything that makes you a woman. But at the end of the day, those things can be replaced. Most of those things I will say can be replaced, but you can't. And you have people here that love you. You have people here that are by your side. So don't ever feel like it's the end. It is never the end until God says it's the end. So you just continue to be strong. You find positive things to think about yourself, to say to yourself. I had a sticky note where I had positive affirmations, and the sticky note is still in the mirror in my bathroom. Positive affirmations. You have to remind yourself, you look at yourself in the mirror and you say it out loud, because as you're going through this journey, you don't like what you see. It took me a while, like a long time, before I was comfortable with actually looking at my scars. It just, sometimes it still hurts. The only scar that I am okay with looking at is my port scar. But other than that, just looking at my scars, it hurts. It's just like, it's a reminder that I had to go through something that I didn't ask for. I never asked for this. Why did I, as many times I question God, why did I deserve this? Why did I deserve to lose my mom to this? Or even after I was finished, why did my mom have to die from this? Why can she still be here? She, it causes a lot of questions. So just don't ever be too hard on yourself. And a phrase that was told to me is, always be kind to yourself. You are already going through so much, but you have to be kind to yourself so that you can get through it. Your mind, your heart, your spirit, you be kind to yourself, and you do whatever you need to do to get through it positively, not negatively. If you feel like you need time from people, tell people, I need a break. I can't have you here right now. I can't talk. Turn off your phone, go for a walk, do whatever you need to do to help you mentally get through it, because the battle starts in your head. And if you can train your mind to think positive and be positive, you'll be fine. You're going to be okay. There is life after cancer, and there are a number of other women to testify for that. So I think that's all that I would really say. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for being our hero. Thank you for being the leader, or one of the leaders, in giving information to the people out here, because obviously everybody else gonna see this video. And everybody that participated in these videos, I personally want to thank you for sharing your journey. You guys are amazing. You're living, walking legacies. We need people like you to advocate and keep telling us what's going on, and it's going to be okay. And I personally want to thank you, LaDonna, for starting this. This is something that we probably been discussed. You're finally putting those things into action, and I think a lot of people are following what you're saying, what you're telling, and a lot of people are going to hear this and be glad that you put this out.
Yes. So
thank you.
No problem. I'm glad. Like I said, I want to touch somebody, and I just want people to know breast cancer happens before 40, period. Don't let anybody make you feel otherwise. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. it happens before 40. I actually know some people that it happened to in their 20s and even before their 20s. I know them personally. I tried to get them to interview, but they had some other things going on. They're like family to me. And so I know they're gonna see this, and y'all know I love y'all. So I just want people to know it happens well before 40, and your life is not based off of somebody else's journey. Just because other people get it at 40, that they're no longer the standard. And I hope that doctors are educating their patients, whether men, whether women, you can get breast cancer. So you just pay attention to your body, know your body. And even for myself, I've had a double mastectomy. I've gone through chemotherapy. I've actually recently had a hysterectomy to avoid in hopes of avoiding getting cancer again. Obviously, I can't get in my ovaries, but it's to avoid ovarian cancer. But at the end of the day, I've done everything the doctors have told me to do, but I can still get cancer again. So that's something that I think about all the time. But it's not something that is in the front of my mind. It's always in the back of my mind. But at the end of the day, I can still get cancer again. It can just happen to anybody. So don't let the narrative of you have to wait until 40 be what you follow. Know your body and learn your body if you don't know your body, so that you know when something is wrong, and so that you can go ahead and call for that. Call the doctor, tell them something wrong. Okay. So I just want to thank everybody again for taking the time out to listen to all of the interviews. Who knows what's going to happen next year? Hopefully, I can do this again next year with a group of new women. Or who knows, God may take me somewhere else, and I don't know. But I just pray that all of these interviews have touched somebody, if it has only been one person. That has been my goal. And while I do advocate for women under 40, this doesn't take away from women and men over the age of 40 either. It's personal for me, because when I was going through it, I had very few people to call that could relate to what I was going through. Talking to somebody over the age of 40 about losing my hair, losing my breast, it's not the same, because they had matured, they have gone through life, they have seen different things to know that these things aren't really that important as you feel they are. But at the age of 27, oh, they're important. Like, I feel like I need these things. So I do this so younger women can relate. But no matter the age, it's still important, and we all still need the positivity, we all still need the love, and we all still need the support. So regardless of the age, it's advocacy for everybody. And I don't want anybody to feel like I am discrediting anybody over 40, because that is not the goal. The goal is just to let somebody know, if you're not 40, don't feel like it can't happen to you. So yes. So thank you again. I appreciate you taking the time to interview me. All right, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Bye.